Welcome to Meet Me Halfway. I'm Jordan Griffith. He is Austin Norton. We're going to have a condensed show for you guys because we're very busy. We got busy schedules. We got a lot to do. In reality, we're just going to go play some video games. So we're going to have a condensed priorities. We don't got a lot of time. Austin's got to work. He's a busy guy. You know how this stuff goes. So we're going to have an MLB show for you guys. Monday is going to be kind of a recap of what happened in the first half, what we think is going to happen in the second half. Kind of the same thing we have going on here, just a little more expanded. So we're going to dive right into All-Star Weekend. The American League beats the National League for the 7th time in a row. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
4-3.
It's a better league.
I mean, did I debate that? No, I'm not.
You're in an NL area, so
it has the better.
What do the people of Atlanta think about the NL versus the AL?
Well, there's not really that much of a bias when it comes to how basically the strength of the teams, because we all know the juggernauts are in the AL. You have the Dodgers, but then the rest of the National League is right there. I mean, even the Marlins, who are the worst team in the National League, can still win a lot of games in the American League going against these terrible teams that you guys have.
Yeah.
But there are more World Series threats in the American League. And I think everyone understands that. So there's not really that much of a bias. But I will say one thing that's huge over here is people love to watch the pitcher hit, which is hilarious.
That's crazy. Why?
Stupid. Because they've grown up that way. Like how we've grown up on the DH, they've grown up on the pitcher needs to hit. So I don't know. So the most important thing, Peter Alonso wins the home run derby. I predicted
this guy in person. You saw this guy in person.
I saw this guy in person hitting BP against the Braves.
Did you tell some people to go make some bets on this guy too?
No, I said go make one on Matt Chapman because his odds were so crazy low. Who knew Vladimir Guerrero would do that to him? I want this to be known that besides Vladimir Guerrero, I guessed every single one of these right. I guessed every single one. Jock Peterson, Vladimir Guerrero had the freaking matchup of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Greatest home run derby I've ever seen in my life. Jock Peterson. Oh, I feel so bad for the guy. He should win. He should have won 2 by now, but that's neither here nor there.
Everyone knows he was the second best performer out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So that was really the matchup. It wasn't Alonso versus
You're right.
Vlad, but Alonso was fortunate enough to get a tired Vladimir Guerrero.
Exactly.
But Jock definitely stood up against him. So that's what happened over the weekend. Peter Alonso also, I want that home run derby to kind of be a blueprint to MLB teams. If you want to get Peter Alonso out, up and in. That is the one spot that he cannot hit the ball. Just like Aaron Judge. As soon as you get up in the zone, once you elevate the ball, they can't hit it. We all saw Peter Alonso. He loved the ball low and in. He loved it right there. So that's a blueprint for you guys.
I think it's just crazy watching the All-Star Weekend where in the first night you see the greatest hitters in the world, and then in the All-Star game, it's just not fair because the pitchers are so good.
Yeah.
It's one inning, so they're just 9 pitches just throwing their best stuff because they're not pacing themselves for 6 innings.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, I got 1 inning. I'm going to absolutely shred you guys.
And that's how All-Star games have always been, too. Yeah. They've always been low scoring. So, I mean, when you have Justin Verlander.
Because is there any way that can be fixed? Because some people find it boring. I'm not one of those people because I like seeing those pitchers say, here's my best stuff that no one really gets to see. Here it is. I like that, but there's some people who are like, oh, I want to see the best hitters hit, you know?
Okay. If you're watching the All-Star game and you're bored by Justin Verlander coming out and throwing 100 right out of the gate, up and into one of your favorite hitters, one of the best hitters in the entire world, then just turn the TV off because you don't deserve the game of baseball. Shut up. I don't want to hear that crap. Oh, it's boring. The pitchers are dominating. They're throwing too fast, too hard. You don't deserve to watch the game. It's as simple as that. The batters aren't the only guys who play the game. Do you want to just watch the home run derby for 162 times a year? No, I hate that. Okay, so something very interesting happened over the weekend. Freddie Freeman going up to bat against Justin Verlander. He was mic'd up talking to the two broadcasters, Joe Buck and I can't remember the other one, in the booth. And that was something that a lot of people kind of liked. It kind of connected the fans finally to a sport that seems very distant from fans. You know, old school unwritten rules. Don't want to not too many bat flips. Don't want too much excitement. Those sort of stereotypes that surround baseball. Should the MLB consider miking players up, going to at bat or in the field, talking to people in the booth?
I think they absolutely should. I remember when they first tried it out during the All-Star game when they mic'd up Francisco Lindor out on the infield. Yeah. And that was so much fun because it's obviously an All-Star game, so he's a little more relaxed, having a little more fun than probably per usual. But still, I think it would just absolutely give more of an impact and a connection for the fans to say, what are they really thinking? Like what I've always loved whenever they mic'd up the NBA. Whenever they show, it's not the whole game, obviously, but they show little clips of it where they're mic'd up in the timeouts or on the floor. They do it to LeBron a lot. I've always liked when they do that in the NBA or in the NFL. Sometimes they'll do it in the NFL. But in the MLB, I think it would absolutely add a connection. Now, there would obviously be some guys that maybe get mic'd up, some who don't. You know, it might just be one player per team. But I think it would be really cool. And obviously, maybe you don't have to have them mic'd up the whole game. You just have them mic'd up every once in a while. And you just say, how's the weather down there? You know, how's the crowd?
That's a good idea.
Just little dumb things like that. People like that. Even if it's not like, what are you looking for in this pitch? It's like, well, you know, what do you like to do after the game? What are you going to go eat? You know, stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think that you also have to limit a lot of it because there is no way that you're going to be able to get an MLB batter to willing to be talking to somebody while they're at bat. You have to be zoned in. You're going against the best of the best. You have to get a hit in order to keep food on your plate. So I think something that would be interesting is, like you said in the NBA, which was a perfect example, is it's a one-way communication so that they can hear you, but you can't hear them talking back. That's what I think would be a perfect fit. That way you can keep a guy in the entire game, or if you want to do spurts of a game, that way they're not distracted and you're able to play those highlights in between commercials. You're able to do the same thing that the NBA does, because I think it's kind of unrealistic to have a guy in the entire game or even spurts of a game to be talking to someone up in the booth and trying to play the toughest game in America.
Well, especially at the toughest spot in the toughest game, in the batter's box.
Think about this. The thing that separates a guy from who hits 2 out of 10 times versus a guy who hits 3 out of 10 times is about $100 million. That's how difficult this sport is and how little of margin for error that you have in the game of baseball. So I think one-way communication would be absolutely perfect. Let us get inside just a little bit. You know, those guys are always talking down on the field. So we want to hear a little bit. I think that'd be great. Okay. I want to revisit both of our World Series predictions preseason, and I want to see who we think will win still coming up this season, see if we change any of our picks. So for you guys who don't remember, me and Austin actually both ironically picked the exact same teams, but different winner. So we both picked the Houston Astros versus the Milwaukee Brewers in the World Series. Austin picked the Milwaukee Brewers to win the title. I picked the Houston Astros. So, Austin, do you still stand by both of those teams, or are you thinking about changing them?
Well, I think the Houston Astros are still looking pretty good. I mean, sitting there in the AL West. I'm looking at those other teams in their division, and the Mariners especially really fall off, and that's who we thought at the beginning of the season was going to be the team that they were going to be battling with. I don't see much of a threat battling with Oakland, Texas, or even Anaheim. So I think they're looking pretty good. Obviously, we've talked about it all year long, how strong the AL East is with the Rays, the Red Sox, and the Yankees. And the Yankees have really turned it on, especially. The Indians and the Twins, I think, could both potentially make it. We looked at last night, you and I looked at what would happen if the MLB season ended today. So that's interesting. But the NL, it's just crazy. I mean, we talked about, you mentioned it already on this show. The AL may have the stronger teams, but the NL has the stronger conference. They just have a deeper conference. There's so many teams that are just right there, you know? And And so, I mean, in your division especially, the Braves, the Nationals, and the Phillies. I mean, they're all right there. They're all right there. Separated by just like 6.5 games.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that could change up at any point. But the Brewers, honestly, are still right there. They still look like they could win the Central Division with battling with the Cubs. So I don't know if I would back off just yet. I mean, I still think they can get there. Christian Yelich is one of the best players in the world. If he's healthy, he makes a difference. So I still think I would stand by my decisions in my World Series picks right now.
Okay, that's great because I think I'm gonna go kind of around the same route there. Before I start, you can tell when you have two guys who talk about sports, you can tell if this guy's used to talking about college sports or professional sports by the words that he uses. Austin just showed one there. Talking about the conference in the National League. Yeah, you said conference instead of league. Like I'm used to saying, okay, what league are you playing in? Are you playing in American National League? You talk about college sports so much, you're saying, what conference do you play in?
I'm so used to it.
And the same thing is, are you the best in the league? Are you the best in the nation? You always say best in the nation. I always say best in the league. That's something I think is really funny.
I hosted college sports talk shows, so it's that is funny to think about.
Yeah, no knock. It's just that I think that's hilarious. It's something I picked up on since we first met. It's hilarious how we both are the exact opposite. I say, what league do you play in? You say, what conference are you in? It's all. Okay. For me, I'm staunch on the Astros. This is still top to bottom the most well-rounded team in the majors. You have Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa if he could stay healthy. That makes me mad. You brought up Yordan Alvarez. Man, is that not a man at 20-something years old? You still have one of the best pitching staffs in the major leagues. You have Ozuna closing the game out. He is as good as a closer can get right now. He's absolutely on fire. And then I'm staying with the Astros. The Yankees are a fantastic team right now, but their health is truly concerning because they have too many guys that are hurt. And if they get healthy, okay, but I'm not going to count on it right now. So I'm going with the Astros still. I'm staunch on that one. And I'm going to stick with the Brewers as well. So I guess we're both keeping our picks. So you're looking at a team that's 47-44. They are a half game back from the Cubs from first place. Here's how good the NL Central is this year. The Cubs are in first place with 47-43. The Reds are in last place with 41-46. The Reds are 4.5 games out of first place, and they're dead last in the division. That is absolute parity in the division. It's not easy when you are the Brewers and you have to play the Cubs, Pirates, Reds, Cardinals, every other series. It's pretty easy when you're the Twins and you get to play Indians, White Sox, Royals, Tigers. It's pretty easy when you play Blue Jays, Orioles. It's pretty easy when you play Anaheim, Seattle. Okay? It's not easy when you're playing this just murderer's row of a National League in terms of depth.
Same with the Braves division.
Yes. 54-37 are the Braves. 6 games back are the Nationals at 47-42. 47-43 are the Phillies. 40-50 are the Mets. And then a little bit of a drop-off, 33-55 are the Marlins. But the Marlins would be like the fourth worst team in the American League. So you have such a deep league over here that the Brewers aren't concerning me too much with only 3 games above 500 going into the break. Because their starting rotation, the top guys are doing exactly what they need to be doing. They're exceeding expectations.
What we expected of them and more.
And more, exactly. You have Brandon Woodruff. He has 10 wins already. He has looks like a 3.67 ERA. Zach Davies has a 3.07. He has 7 wins. And then it kind of drops off from there when it comes to rotation. Then you look at the lineup. Mike Moustakas has already exceeded expectations this year. He's already better than he was the last half of the year when they traded for him from the Royals. Yasmani Grandal is doing his thing. He's playing spectacular defense. He's hitting just like they bought him for. Jesus Aguilar had a horrendous first half. 225. Looks like he hit 8 home runs, 32 RBIs. Travis Shaw, horrendous first half. He was injured pretty much the entire time. He batted 164. He only has 30 hits on this season, 6 home runs, 13 RBIs. They're not going to repeat that. That second half is going to get better for them, and they are their two most powerful hitters outside of Christian Yelich and Mike Moustakas. So you get those two guys, they start to heat up in that second half, because I know for a fact both these guys are way too good to keep doing this. So they're going to heat up in the second half. Two guys that they didn't count on in the first half. I truly believe that they'll heat up in the second half. I think his offense is going to carry them to at least the NLCS. I think that I would still keep my picks as going to the World Series, but I still have the Astros winning. Okay, something that has come to our attention is the MLB action problem. Now, this is something that a lot of people have been talking about. It's something that I also have noticed over the past 2 or 3 years now. So the problem is that you have these games, should be 2.5 to 3 hour games, okay? Each inning should just be a little over or under 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something of the sort. Shouldn't be too long. But what you have is you have these guys going up, swinging for the fences. You don't have runners on base. You have guys who are working the count much more often because they're looking for that home run pitch. You have guys who are striking out more often. Once again, 0 base runners. You don't have any sort of spectacular defensive plays anymore. No double plays because no one's on base. This is just an empty game that we're watching in the MLB. Baseball is my favorite sport. I love the game to death. It's hard to watch now.
The problem is, though, how do you fix it? Because now it's more valued. Home runs are more valuable in the players' eyes, in the fans' eyes.
Right.
You and I are not those fans, but in a lot of the fans' eyes, like, I want to see a home run. You know, I want to see, when in reality, I want to see 2 on, 1 out in the 7th inning. That's what I want to see. 1st and 3rd with 1 out.
Yeah.
Will the defense get a double play, or will a run be scored to tie the game? That's what I'd rather see.
That's
but
100%.
how do you change that? How do you change the perspective of the fans?
Well, first of all, I think your first step is eliminating the shift. You have a lot of left-handed hitters that are just trying their best to hit it over the shift because it is tough when you're a left-handed hitter. You're used to pulling the ball and they're pitching you inside. It is tough to squeeze that one out to left field. Same with right-handed hitters. I think I don't like eliminating the shift. I think the fact that if you can't hit it over there, you shouldn't be hitting it all. But to counteract the lack of action and the sort of home run or nothing action in the MLB right now, I think eliminating the shift is the first thing. Secondly, the balls have been altered this season. This is something that everyone has been saying. The ball's juiced.
The commissioners deny it. I 100% believe it. There's no way that it's not.
Okay, now, I'm a huge Dansby Swanson fan. You know this. I have a jersey of him. I think he's a spectacular shortstop. His career high home run rate was 15. First half of this year, he has 15 home runs.
That's his career high.
You have a lot of guys who are not power hitters hitting in the double digits of home runs already. That is something that hasn't happened ever before. So that obviously points to juiced baseballs. Now, Rob Manfred has already come out and said that he had nothing to do with this. I believe that. I think that whoever makes the baseballs for them, for the MLB, has altered the baseball. They said there might be less wobble in the core of it, so that would cause it to fly out of the park a little bit easier. But fix the baseballs, go back to what they used to be, or even, create a little more drag with them. Maybe go on the other end of the spectrum. Maybe not very many home runs at all. Yeah, maybe not very many home runs at all. Maybe that'll bring people back to the game because right now, you're losing people. I was just at a game the other week against the Marlins. And I was sitting there, and I love baseball. I was sitting there, I was like, how are we still here? I got here at 4 o'clock, and it's 8:30. Now, why am I still watching this game right now?
Yeah.
So you have a very bad pace of play isn't exactly the word I would use.
So would a pitch clock help?
No. The pitchers are not the issue. In the pace of a pitchers versus a batter, getting the pitches out in a good time is not the issue.
I think they corrected that. I think
it's been corrected. I didn't think it was that big of an issue in the first place. I think they've also fixed mound visits.
I didn't think it was either, but I can see a difference.
Yeah, yes, I agree with that 100%. The problem is the elongated innings that you have. You have innings where these guys are scoring 8 runs in an inning, hitting solo jacks. So you're hitting with guys with no guys on base, and the more runs you score in a game, in an inning, the longer that inning is going to take. 0-0 games are the fastest games you could possibly get. So the fact that you guys say that you want 10, 12 runs in a game combined, or 10 from a team, 12 from a team next game, you don't really want that because you'll be on your couch or in the seats for 4 to 5 hours every night. That's something nobody wants. So right now, I think those are the 2 solutions for it. Otherwise, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they handle the juice baseball things because I know that's a big. Oh no, we would never do that. But clearly something's not right. Clearly something's different, or else. I mean, we're having literally the most historic home run season ever. And this game has been around for 100 years.
And this is the 3rd year that this has happened, too. This is the 3rd year now that we are starting to see analytics tell us to hit the ball over the fence. So I don't know. I really hope it corrects itself. Baseball is a beautiful game. It has just been stripped down to home runs, and I absolutely hate it. You have things like double plays. You have diving stops at short. You know, you're hooking up a double play. You have double steals. You have steals. You have collisions at the plate. Those are gone. That's not really the home run's fault, but you have so many things from the game that have just been stripped away. It's disheartening. I hope it changes sooner rather than later. Okay, moving on to top 5. We're gonna do top 5s, then we're gonna do Twitter poll question of the day. Then we are out of here, guys. Sorry for the short and so. But on Monday we will have a pretty much MLB-based show. We'll be kind of what we just talked about, expanding on all of that, talking about some second half predictions. So, top 5 NBA head coaches. So I'll go ahead and go first. Number 5, I have Mike Malone. I have the Denver Nuggets. I think the fact that he doesn't have any true superstars that people look at and say that's the guy that's going to change your franchise. Even though I think Jokic is that guy, a lot of people don't believe it. He turned Jamal Murray from a shooting guard into a pure point guard. Love that move. So Mike Malone, number 5. He just won Coach of the Year. Number 4, I have Greg Popovich. I'm not a huge fan of Greg Popovich. This is no secret. I don't like the way he handles the media. I think he sets a bad example for coaches around the league. But you can't deny his resume. So I have him at number 4 because I still don't think that he's really capable of coaching a championship team again. Number 3, I have Rick Carlisle. This is a guy that just his roster has failed him. He has not failed his roster. He has not had the talent that is necessary around him in order to win. We all saw him with Dirk Nowitzki, with one player, him and Jason Terry, Sean Marion, Tyson Chandler, Jason Kidd, all those guys win a title against the Miami Heat Big 3. So I got Rick Carlisle number 3. I think the Dallas Mavericks will do big things this year. Number 2, I have Mike Budenholzer. Most likely the best X's and O's / system coach in the NBA. Now, the thing is, this guy is boring. He has no personality whatsoever. That is one reason why Atlanta was more than happy to push him out of town over here. He never said a word in his interviews, nothing that mattered anyhow. But tremendous head coach. So you got to give him credit. Number 1 seed. What were they? Number 8 seed, number 7 seed last year in the playoffs, coming up to number 1 seed. Now they are the dominant force in the East. Number 1, Brad Stevens. Once again, I think Kyrie Irving has failed him. I think he also failed Kyrie Irving quite a bit as well last year. I think Brad Stevens deserves a little more hate for that. Hate's not the right word. A little more criticism for that. But I still believe that all around personality, X's and O's, system fits. This is your guy, Brad Stevens, and he's one of the youngest head coaches in the NBA.
So I have at number 5, I have Terry Stotts, who's the head coach for the Portland Trail Blazers. This is a guy who really hasn't had a substantial amount to work with, but the way that you've seen Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum grow, I mean, those are the 2 guys that he's really had. To see them grow over the time and go all the way to the Western Conference Finals. I mean, this is a guy who obviously puts his players in the right system, in the right place to win, even though they may not be the most talented team out there. Number 4, I also have Mike Budenholzer. You said it. I mean, he's not very exciting, but he works with the best player in the world at this moment, and he puts up good plays, good X's and O's guy. Number 3, Greg Popovich. He's kind of just a staple in this list, really. It's kind of like Well, I mean, you got to put him in. He's always been in this list. He's got to be. Number 2, I've always been a fan of Eric Spoelstra. I've always loved his story of coming up. And for me, it's like if Pat Riley, who's one of the greatest basketball minds of all time, if he likes you there, then you're doing something right.
Right.
Like,
That's a great point.
If he likes you as his head coach, then you're doing something right because he's one of the greatest basketball minds in the sport. And then number 1, I also have Brad Stevens. I look at what he did the season before when he made it to the Eastern Conference Finals with a team without Kyrie, a team with not even 100% Gordon Hayward. I just thought the plays that he would draw up, the team, truly a team feel, similar to what we saw with Popovich and the Spurs. I mean, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, those guys really seemed like a true team together and played well together because of what Brad Stevens would put them in. So I still hold him at number 1, even though there was some problems with this season. But I think there's probably 70-30 on Kyrie's end of that.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on, top 5 summer vacation spots in the United States. I just thought of one. I'm gonna re-edit mine. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do number 5. I'm going with South Padre. It's some place that you've actually been to over spring break. It's actually more of a popular spring break location.
It is. Right? That's why I didn't put it on my list. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a spring break thing than a summer vacation thing. But I mean, why not both? So number 3, I have South Beach. I mean, it's South Beach, Miami. There's a reason the Miami Heat will always be a free agent destination. South Beach is summer 24/7. Number 2, place that I have heard millions of great things about. Savannah, Georgia. This is a beach vacation.
A little biased there, maybe? I don't know.
I guess. I mean, this is a party town. It's crazy. This is a place that everyone goes in Atlanta during the summer. They go out to the lake or they go out to the ocean, go swim in Savannah, Georgia, go do the ghost tours there. It's a huge...
So it's everyone in the state of Georgia goes there for the summer, pretty much.
Everyone in the state of Georgia goes to Savannah during the summer.
Okay.
There's truly no comparison. Like when I lived in Kansas, there was no comparison to this. How many people I know go to Savannah just because. So I got Savannah number 3. I got Galveston, Texas, number 2. This place I've also never been. This is also one of basically just a long beach. It's right off the coast of Texas and the Gulf of Mexico. Tons of people go. I've heard lots of great things. A lot of water parks, a lot of piers, and this is just pure volume. This is the place I've known the most people to go to. And then number 1, I have Hawaii. This is a place that obviously.
Wow, how did I not have that?
I know. I can't believe we both forgot off our list. I just thought of it. So Hawaii's number 1, and any of the islands are pretty much all number 1. I've actually been to Hawaii. It's been a very long time now, but fantastic. Any of the islands are number 1. So Hawaii number 1.
Oh man, yeah. All right, I'm gonna put Hawaii on mine as well then, because I mean, how could I forget that? I'll put that at 5. I had Galveston, so I'll put Hawaii at 5. Number 4, I have Orlando, Florida. I mean, Disney World. It's got to be one of the hot spots for pretty much any family. I feel like has got to make a trip down there. That's where Disney World. That's where every kid in the entire United States wants to be. Number 3, I have Table Rock Lake. It's a pretty common place in this area. You got Branson, so you also could go to Silver Dollar City if you want. Branson's just a fun place in general. And then, of course, Table Rock Lake. There's no ocean where I'm located. So this is, I mean, you're going to some lake, and this is definitely one of the most famous ones.
But even when I lived there, a lot of people still went to Table Rock. So Absolutely. It is very popular.
Number 2, I put, I don't really have a specific name, but I put a skiing resort because some people don't like the hot weather, so they go somewhere where it's cold. I don't get it. This would be the last place I would want to go. But some people want to be in the snow during the summer. So they go to a skiing resort up in the Rocky Mountains somewhere in Colorado. I don't have a specific name, but I just put skiing resorts.
People who like the cold. You spend 100% of your time in the winter in your house. Indoors. You don't like going outside? Whatever. Keep going. Finish your list. I'm done.
Some people are on the aspect of, I never want to go outside because it's too hot. For me, it's not hot enough. I'll be outside all day if I have to. It's not hot enough.
I would much rather deal with the heat than go outside and get frostbite.
Absolutely. Yeah. Seems pretty. Anyway. Number 1, I put Gulf Shores, Alabama. Everyone thinks it's just the white sand beaches. I've been there. It's a really cool place. It's a really cool little town. You can drive down through Montgomery, Alabama, and then go on into the ocean at Gulf Shores. It's a really, really cool place. There's a lot of people I know actually in this area, in Olathe, Eudora, that all have been to Gulf Shores at some point. So it's pretty cool.
Heard of this place.
Yeah, just pure white sand beaches. It's really nice. Really nice. I would recommend it.
At least Alabama has something.
Well, yeah, I mean, because they don't have college football anymore, right? Because, Clemson's way better.
I mean, yeah. All right. Unfortunately, this is the end of the show, but we'll leave you with the Twitter poll question of the day. We want you guys, and I'm really interested in your guys' answers on this one. Do you think the home run has created a pace of play? God, let me rephrase it. Do you think the home run has created a pace of play problem in today's baseball? So basically what we were just talking about, do you think that this is an issue? Do you like seeing the home run fly out of the park? Or do you like seeing guys on base, pitchers in a bind, trying to get out of it, defensive plays, all sorts of that? Or do you like the MLB as is? Some people do. I understand that. I love home runs just like everyone else does. Just think there should be a little sample size of it. So go on to Twitter, answer that for us. That's it for us. I'll say goodbye, people.
Goodbye, people.
Thank you guys for watching our shortened show. Jordan Griffith, Austin Norton. This made me halfway. Thank you for watching.